Look, they grind it fresh, then they put it in the filter. Yeah, it's super smooth. Yeah, you know it's never bitter. They got all the goods for the summer and the winter. Got the Miko cups, cause they never want no litter. That's the Ojo. They got the coffee, tea, and cocoa. That's the Ojo. They gon' serve you like a mojo. That's the Ojo. You can tell just by the logo. That's the Ojo. Try it once and you go loco. That's the Ojo.
Renato here. Today I want to review a couple of really cool automatic drip brewers that I've been wanting to work with for quite a few years now, and I finally took the plunge to do it. It is the Mocha Master Technovorm series out of Europe, actually made in Holland. What I really love about these brewers is the fact that they are handmade by Europeans. They have like a tagline online that says "Not made in China." The reason that's important is everything in these is made with quality, copper boilers, steel housings, and an unparalleled 5-year warranty with this company. Most brewers, they give you 6 months to a year. What's really cool about these as well is they're rated by both the American and the specialty and the European Specialty Coffee Associations for having the ideal brew temperature that hits the coffee bed in order to have perfect extraction. We've been testing these for a little bit now in our coffee bar, actually substituting it almost as a pour-over unit, and I'll show you how you can do that. But there's two versions. The one we carry for household use is the KBT S 741. It's considered a 10-cupper, but that's 10 European cups. So probably about 4 North American cups would suffice on this brewer. There is no reservoir, meaning that it's all on-demand heat. So these boilers are engineered so efficiently that once you add your water, then it starts heating on demand and running into the coffee bed. So this is more for household use. And then this one is kind of like a step up. And I use it actually to do catering events. And this thing is a workhorse. It is the CDT Grand, 1.8 liter. And I can just keep brewing one after the other, batch per batch per batch. And what's really cool about that is you can do smaller batches more frequently. There's no recovery time with some of the other commercial machines that you see out there. What else can I tell you? We'll start with the CDT Grand. You can also use this in an office as well. If you have an office that you guys are brewing coffee all day long, or even a small size restaurant, you could get away with something like this. But all the parts come off. What I really love is even your water arm can come off so you can store it. It's got this dispersing shield. So as the water comes out the hole and hits the holes, it actually spreads out and actually mellows over top, almost like a little light shower over the coffee bed. And that's why these brewers really give a beautiful cup of coffee. You could technically throw everything in, engage the button on and brew it, set it and forget it, and you're gonna get a decent cup of coffee every time. But if you wanna start manipulating the coffee bed, which I'll show you on the KBT 741, you can actually enrich the extraction even more. So let's get started. We'll start with the CDT Grand. Basically, it comes with its own size filters, and we're gonna throw that filter in there. What I love about these baskets is they all come off, and it's got a little shut-off valve. So at the end, when you're done right at the end of your pot, you want that cup of coffee, you can shut the little pin, pull the little pin, and it will close the valve so you have no more drips. You can pull that pot away right away. And the other thing to remember is that it will not engage unless this little pin is depressed. So you can set everything up, or if you're halfway and you want to take a cup, you can pull the pin out, pour a cup. I would never recommend that because your ratio is going to be all messed up from coffee to water, but you can pull it away and it'll stop brewing. Or if you wanted to bloom the coffee, so engage it, let it bloom for a little bit, then pull it off for about 30 seconds to let the off-gassing occur if you have really, really fresh coffee, which always seems to be the problem here at Ojo. You can let it bloom and then put it back in and continue the brewing process. Now I will show you that as we get going. So everything comes apart. I'm gonna put it all back together, and I'm gonna get some coffee ground. My recipe for this particular brewer is 70 grams of coffee for the 1.8 liters. That's what I like to use. It's the way I like the taste, so I'll get that going. What I do with that coffee bed is always give it a level shake to make sure everything is level. Straighten out any filters that you need to. Place your brew arm. And I'm going to use filtered water. And some people will preheat their vessel. I'm telling you that when the coffee hits this, even if you have a cooler or a room temperature pot, it's still going to be piping hot when it comes out. It comes with a destratification tube. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Never knew what the heck this tube was for. I thought it had something to do with heat, but it actually has to do with mixing. So as the coffee drips in and goes down to the bottom, it's constantly mixing so that you don't have a separation of the oils during the brew. There is a line marked on the reservoir. That is the absolute maximum it will go. Let's see where I'm pretty sure I'll be close to that line. Which is cool. Add my destratification tube. It also comes with a stopper altogether. So if you want to make a pot and you're going to have a cup and then leave it sitting for a few hours, you can change the cap, close this so that it becomes airtight and doesn't allow any heat to escape. And then when you're ready, you just unscrew it a quarter turn and you can pour. So pretty cool. And they all come with their own measuring scoop. I do like to measure by weight, but it does give you a ratio of so many scoops. And I had one customer say, how many scoops do I use? So I actually took the weight and then measured out the scoops. And so it can be somewhat accurate. We're gonna place the, you have to be able to depress that pin. The brewer is on. And then once I do that, what's gonna start to happen within a few seconds here, we'll put that on just to prevent any dust from getting in there, but you'll start to see the glass tube in the middle bubbling up. And I wanna just show you how that water comes out that one hole. And then we're gonna add the splash guard or the disbursement splash guard in a minute. Again, you could have this all set up, ready to brew, set it and forget it. I'm just kind of showing you how you can take this to a whole new level. Always make sure your pin is open when you start brewing as well. So right there, we've added some water to the coffee bed. And now what I could do here would be to disengage the pin. The water will stop. And what that allows me to do now, if I wanted to, would be to make sure that my water bed or my coffee bed is fully saturated and degassed before continuing the brewing process. So this is sort of an advanced technique. Not required, but it definitely takes the coffee to a whole new level. Now I can add my disbursement splash guard and re-engage the pin, and you'll start to notice the drip continue. And notice the water piping up through the glass tube right away. It's just awesome. It's hitting this coffee bed exactly at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect for extracting the beautiful oils in fresh coffee. This will probably take about 6 to 8 minutes to finish, so fairly quick brewer. And then we'll taste it and enjoy it. We'll get over to the KBT 741. KBT 741s, they come with their own cone-shaped filters, so more like your sort of Melita or Hario style filter. What we like to do is I like to fold over the seam. And again, this all comes apart as well, which I really love. Everything comes apart on this guy too. But what we'll do is we'll do that, and I will grab the same coffee. And what I'm gonna do on this one, what's really cool is we do a recipe where we'll do enough for 2 cups or enough for 4 cups. So I'm gonna do a 2-cup recipe on this to show you that how easy it is to brew 1 to 2 cups quickly and efficiently. Again, level your coffee bed, place it in. This one's got a shut-off valve, but also a halfway point and a full. The halfway is designed if you do want to slow down the flow restriction. I don't ever use that. I either have it all the way open or all the way closed, but we'll leave it all the way open for the purposes of this video. What's different about the armhole on this one is it's got 9 little holes. So whereas this needs the shower screen to disperse, this will kind of mellow on its own. So just a little bit of a different design. And I'm going to grab water. Again, filtered water. And with a 2-cup recipe, I know right away that I gotta go to the number 6 on the side. using 30 grams of coffee to number 6 on the side of the machine here. Put my destratification tube in. Just protect dust and stuff from getting in there. And I will turn on the machine, engage the pin. And again, you'll see coffee brewing out the top, and you could technically just put all your covers on, set it and forget it, come back in 4 minutes, and you're going to have coffee. But for the purposes of this video as well, and what we like to do in the coffee bar when we're using the Technivorm is just give it a little turbulence and agitation during that initial splashing down of the water on the coffee bed. Again, you can hear and you can see the bubbling up, instant heat. I don't even know if a minute has passed since we turned the machine on. Again, so if you wanted to at this point, you could disengage the pin, it would stop brewing, give everything a nice little saturation, and then continue your brew. At this point on the CDT Grand, what I like to do when it gets near the end is you can actually pull the funnel up a bit, and I love to give it a little swirl. So what that'll do is swirl the water around and pull the grinds into the center, so you have kind of like a flat extraction, kind of like your design on a pour over, or your goal on a pour over such as a Hari or a Kalita is to have an even coffee bed when everything's done draining. You can kind of achieve that on these machines as well. Kind of showed you the complicated way to use this brewer and the easy way. The easy way is just dump everything in, turn it on, come back 4 to 6 minutes later and you've got beautiful coffee. But if you're into deeper flavors, better extractions, a little agitation and playing around at the beginning really makes a difference. What I really love is the fact that I'm not losing heat. Whereas when we do a hand pour, to execute a tasty hand pour, everything has got to be perfect. So if there's a little bit of human error there, which behind the bar, we're very technical, so that doesn't usually happen. But at home, you might get distracted, your water might be too hot, it might be too cold. You may forget about your pour and then have channeling. So this just allows that water to be consistent over the coffee bed the entire time. I'll show you now how that's bubbling up beautifully. So the boilers have shut off now because they sense that there's no more water in them, so they've stopped bubbling and gurgitating. There's nothing to do that on. Just finishing up the drip, and this is the point where you can see that little tiny drip. You could basically take your pin here. I call it a pin. It's a little arm, and pull that out, and it stops dripping, and we're ready to go. Not going to pour yet though. We're going to pour exactly at the same time so they have the exact same time to cool. And this is the exact same coffee done on each brewer, so we can taste it and see what we think. Close my shut-off valve there. Got both ready to go. Let's taste. Tastes exactly the same.